Broadcasting from the beautiful Hill Country in Texas, this is Oneradionetwork.com. Just did a little glance here at my little calendar of precious quotes I read every morning from my teacher, Harold. This is a great one. Oh, it's actually from yesterday. I'll flip it over for today. From yesterday, it says, if you're thinking about becoming perfect, there's always one more step. Oh, man. And I thought, oh, that's great. Oh, yeah. Always another step, isn't there? Well, good morning. It is June 16th, 2016, and this is Oneradionetwork.com. My name is Patrick Timpone. I have a good show for you this morning. Next hour, we're going to open up and say and talk to a dentist in, I think out in L.A. or Beverly Hills about some of the work that he's doing. He's got some interesting ideas in a book about how the mouthpiece is connected to everything. Health of the mouth, including the heart and all that, which is cool stuff to know. And to think about, if you'd like to be on the show, 888-663-6386, email Patrick at Oneradionetwork.com. First up this morning is a nice lady. She's in Norway. Oh, let's go and visit. Just visit Norway. And she's got quite a story. She has a book out called From Hell to Inspired. Her website is inspiredbyhilde.com. It's spelled Hilde Larsen, but it's Hilde. And she is in Norway. So I guess it's afternoon there, Hilde. Good morning, or good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Patrick. Yes, it is. It is afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
what kind of weather are we having there in Norway?
It has been a beautiful rainy day.
Y'all get a lot of rain there?
No, not really. But, it keeps it very lush and green. And you know me, I like to go into the wild and I like to go into the forest. So I got me some wild herbs already today in the rain. Beautiful.
Really? What kind of herbs did you get?
I got some dandelion, some plantain, stinging nettle, ground elder, horsetail, all the good stuff.
And where'd you learn how to find those?
Where did I learn?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a long experience. It's kind of where I've ended up going through everything that I went through is to get closer to nature. So I just kind of got back to where I think we're supposed to be.
Yeah. And you also live in Florida. You and your husband, you travel back and forth?
Well, we got ourselves a beautiful condo down in Florida, yes. So I would say I spend about 4 months out of the year down there.
Mm-hmm.
So really beautiful. To cut out the winter, makes the winter a little shorter. So, but the summer in Norway, I wouldn't change. I wouldn't switch for anything.
Yeah, here it's so you all really have some pretty serious, sincere winters in Norway.
Well, yes, we do, but not where I live, actually, because I'm on the Gulf. I'm where we have the Gulf come up with the warm waters. So I'd say, I don't know, probably like south, New York-ish weather, I would say.
So plenty of snow.
Not where I live, no.
No. Are there a lot of saunas and steams and detoxing to go on up there in that part of the world?
I think you're pointing more towards Finland because they have a long history of that. Norwegians, not so much.
Oh, I thought because you would be in the same neighborhood that you all would do that.
Yeah. See, well,
not
we're
so.
more like the greenish place. You have to go pretty, further up in Norway. It's a long,
Mm-hmm.
slim country.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get, up north where you have the sun, in the summer and it's dark in the winter and there's a lot of snow,
Hmm.
then we have the semis. We have indigenous people living up there,
I see.
you know.
And
So that's different.
what are your main food staples in Norway? I mean, what do people eat a lot of?
Well, we're potato people.
Potatoes, yeah.
Yeah, potato and milk, sadly. We all grew up on potato and milk, I think.
You don't like
Yeah.
potatoes?
Well, it's a lot of starch, and together with potatoes, we usually have the regular gravy and meat. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not the best healing of food at all. That's why, we can see it on health. We have the same health problems as any other Western country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have
Yeah.
quite a story. You, what was it, Hilda? 9 years ago, you were just diagnosed with like all kinds of stuff. What did they tell you? You went to the doctor. What did they tell you had going on?
Well, I was diagnosed with severe rheumatoid arthritis, and therefore put on some pretty cruel medications,
Yeah.
to keep my joints in check, what they, told me, in and out of hospitals. And then I was diagnosed with Lyme's, which I later found, those medications are not very friendly when you have Lyme's in the body also. So what I was experiencing was that my joints were in check. They were kept in check with all that medication, but my body was just falling apart on the inside. I was getting anxious. I was getting depressed. My heart was not beating right. So I got in and out of hospitals for all sorts of ailments while on the medication.
And when you began to start feeling badly, was this a gradual kind of progression, Hilda, of the way you felt?
Yeah. Do you know what? I think anyone you talk to who's diagnosed as a chronic case, there will always be a long history
Mm.
of going downhill. The spiral is just sometimes you can even go back to childhood, and they will tell you, oh yeah, I had ulcers in 15 years, and I've had migraines my whole life, or I have allergies. So definitely it was a long process, and I was not listening. I was just like we do. We just keep on going with what we have, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
we want to change, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was just a long progression, and finally, you found your way into the medical world and in and out of hospitals, and so you were on a lot of medications too.
I was.
Yeah, like
A lot of medications.
what kind of stuff?
Well, like Enbrel, it's like the immune depressants, and the prednisone, the cortisol,
Wow.
methotrexate, the chemo drug. Yeah, they hit you really hard to try to suppress the symptoms.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing, trying to suppress the symptoms, and I was trying to ignore what the body was telling me.
Right.
Uh,
Of course, at the time,
and
you had no idea, right? You go to the docs, and
I
they
had no
you,
idea,
you just
right?
take you just
Right.
take it. Yeah, take it.
And I thought I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do,
Sure.
and I tried for a long time, and I was in and out of hospital with symptoms that obviously came from the medication. You have this round, go around and catch 22, and I just finally, hit rock bottom. I just finally was so sick and tired
Hmm.
of feeling like crap that I just couldn't do it anymore. I I just sat down on the sofa. I just stopped all of my medications in one day, and I just told my husband that I am just going to lay here until one out of two things happen. Either I get healthy or I die, and I don't care which.
Wow. What'd your
Yeah.
husband say?
He said, okay. Yeah, he said, okay. He was always on board, and, God bless his soul.
Yeah.
He's always been on board with this. He knew that this was serious, and he knew that I meant business.
Mhm.
And he had seen me suffer for a long time, and he was, helpless as well. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, because how long was the health? I mean, the doctor, hospital, medicine experience, Hilda, going on?
Well, that was about not that long, actually, looking back, but about close to 4 years, I would say. But it
I'm
was
sorry?
pretty intense.
About 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Yeah, to feel.
Yeah, it felt like a
And
long
you
time.
just
And I
got
was-
you just got progressively worse.
Well, the thing was that my joints were actually pretty fine.
Mhm.
So that, once you take away the immune response, then, the body can't show you that. But I was falling apart on the inside. I was just showing so many symptoms of malfunction that I couldn't even, almost leave my house because I was so anxious or nauseous or fatigued, or you know what I'm saying? It was like a
Yeah.
whole different, like a whole myriad of symptoms that I knew was not good. It's like something in me. I had this dream that all of my, because in Braille, there's syringes. You put shots in your stomach or in your thigh or whatever. So you do it yourself and you administer that from home. And I had this dream, and I woke up all sweaty, where this huge barrel of all the syringes I ever took just blew up. It's like I woke up, and it was just like, this is it. This is it. I'm done.
Isn't that great? Good for you.
Yeah, I was done.
You were done.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like even a conscious, rational thought process that you contemplated on for a long time. You, after the dream, and you just quit. Yes, I'm done.
I just quit. I was done. I just knew that this
Wow.
was going to kill me. I mean, I had to give it a, I treasured life. I always treasured life, always try to do my best. And I just thought that this is not it. I was born healthy. It's natural to be healthy, and I can be healthy again. I was so sure of that. I just had no idea where to start and what to do. I just knew that I had to do something else other than what I was doing.
But you came to this conclusion before you were even into or knew about really natural things, natural health.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? You just knew.
And even the couple of first years, this was in 2007, which I stopped everything. And the first year or year and a half, I went to my medical doctor and made him prescribe me stuff that I had read that could kill parasites. I was kind of, it was not about the medical or the not medical. I just knew that I had to find the cause of what was doing this to me and use whatever tool that I could. So the all natural, your body can heal yourself as long as you get out of the way and, carry out the lymphatic system, blah, blah. Everything that I know now has just been gradually shown to me. I just went all into myself, and I just sat there, and I was just like, show me the way, show me the way.
Yeah.
Thank you for this healing. Show me the way. Show me the way. That was all that I was, telling myself.
Oh, that's great. What a wonderful expression. Well, show me the way.
Show me the way.
Wow. And you just sat on the sofa.
Yeah, I did. I was done. I was not showing up for class next day. I was back in school, actually. I was studying journalism, and I'm originally an interior architect. I was this, workaholic, you know how it is, strong people, they just keep on going until they hit the wall. And that was me back then. So I just sat there and I thought, okay, I'm just going to channel all this energy the other way. I'm not going to stop until I get this, until I understand this.
Until you figure out what's going on. Yeah. And so what were those first hours and days and weeks, and how long were you on the couch were like? I mean, what kind of, I mean, how did you deal with what was the truth and what was good information and just your mind just making you crazy?
Well, the thing is, Patrick, that when you stop what is suppressing your symptoms, your body will show you how sick you really are. So,
right. Yeah.
So it's like the train is hitting you from behind when you stop. So I was really getting sick. My joints, I laid for 2 years in bed. I could not even open my jaw because my jaw was so inflamed. I could not make a fist. I could not bend my arms. I could not bend my knees. I could not walk on my feet. I had to be carried to the bathroom. It was just like I was on fire.
Wow.
That is what was showing me that all these medications were suppressing symptoms, but I had been getting sicker and sicker all along. How interesting is that?
Yeah. So your immune, we're just theorizing here, I'm just listening, that your immune system was just going bonkers. And when you got off those drugs that were helping the symptoms of the overactive immune system, then you really felt badly.
Well, I would like to put it this way. My immune system was not at all overactive.
Oh, it wasn't.
It was just doing what it was supposed to do.
Oh,
it was just trying to get rid of what was not,
Right.
And then once you suppress that, then the body cannot do its job, and you're just pushing it into your body. You're just suppressing it into the cells.
Oh, so the assumption that I made,
inside.
yes. Oh, so the assumption I made is incorrect. It was not overactive. It was just trying to do good. It was just trying to do what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The body is always trying to. I don't see
Yeah.
autoimmune. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
That your body is attacking itself. I don't buy it.
I agree.
Not at all.
I
Your
agree.
body is always on your side. Always. If you don't think it's on your side, you're getting too mental. That's my view.
There you go. Good for you,
Yeah.
girl. Yeah, I agree. You know, this whole idea, and we still get natural docs that come on all the time, and I never question them about it because they're the guest, but they'll say that it's attacking the nerves and the myelin sheath or the joints, but I don't know. It never made sense to
How
me.
could it do that?
I don't know.
God.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
are we
Are we just
questioning creation? You know,
yeah.
creation is perfect.
Yeah, why would it
What
do
it's
that?
doing is trying to save your life. That's what it's doing. We just need to get out of our way. That's what I learned more and more. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of your mind. Get out of your mind. Allow the body to heal.
Yes. Good for
So
you.
that's what moved me to this whole. But I had to tell you one thing. I listened to you way back then, and that was one of the things that I held on to.
No, you're just
Oh,
making
yeah.
that up.
I remember you, and I remember Dr. Ken Sutter was on
Oh.
quite sometimes back then in 2007.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah, he is. So
You got
that was my starting point.
No
actually.
kidding. I didn't know that.
It was. Yeah.
How'd you find us?
CureZone. I found Sutter on CureZone, and there is soul that spent so many hours just answering questions. This was before Facebook.
Yeah.
So thank God, while I was laying there, thank God that I had the internet, because CureZone became my lifeline. Because you just lay there, and people, they don't do illness very well. So when you kind of lay there, they stop coming. It's a lonely world.
Yeah. They stop coming. Doc Sutter listens quite a bit. I get emails from him regularly. Doc, if you're listening this morning, call in and say hi. 888-663-6386. I wonder if he's around. He's an active chiropractor, so he often has patients right now. I think it's 10 o'clock in Michigan where he lives. I know. Yeah.
We're connected on Facebook.
You are? So you got inspired by his whole story with the Gulf, all the parasites and all that stuff.
Oh, and you won't believe what came out of me. So that was my starting point. I started with the liver flushes and the parasites. And I think I did close to 50 liver flushes. I was just on it every 10th day. That's how I was almost dying, I think, from the symptoms, because I was hitting it so hard with detox. But that's how sick I was. And a lot of people are that sick. It's just you don't see it until you try to get rid of everything that the body's holding on to.
Mm-hmm. So looking back for folks around the world, and we've got a lot of them that have got about 12 different things going on, and they're having a hard time getting their arms around it, kind of like you.
Yeah.
And I've often said to them, I want you to stop taking everything and just figure out, I just do that offhand. And of course, they never listen to me. But do you think it would? you think it would be even viable for someone sick that were taking a lot of quote unnatural things? You know what I mean? Quote natural, unquote.
Yeah, I know.
Just to quit everything and get on the couch and see what's going on.
Right. That's isolates, and we need to move away from that, because the body doesn't recognize and isolate. The body recognizes a whole.
Yes.
We figured that out. We created isolates. It's not natural at all. So I meet clients, and I say to people all the time, just show me what you're taking, and it's all natural. It doesn't mean that the body likes it. So I was the same thing. Stop everything. Just stop for a minute, and think. We are primates. We are literally primates. We are fruitarians. We are raw food eaters. We are as naturally a part of nature as any other creature here. That's the way I see it. And the closer that I got to that, because that was a process, but I was never jumping in because of a book or anything. I was just led, step by step, feeling my body. Now I live on fruits only and wild herbs. Well, 99% of the time, and that's it.
Wow.
And
wow. Really?
Yeah. Wow. I've been 100% raw for the last 8 years.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And you're doing mostly your fruits?
I'm doing mostly fruits.
Oh, wow.
Fruit.
It's amazing.
The simple sugars, the simple food, pick and eat, sweet, ripe, like I see it as primates, not only for the taste, and we have the hands to pick it, but when you look at our body, when you look at our teeth and our digestive system and our enzymes, we're primates. We just strayed away from nature, of course, together with EMF and everything else that's going on, that's hitting our cells, and creating all those free radicals. But yeah.
Stay right there. We're going to take a little. This is great. Truth is simple, change is hard, by Hilde Larsen. She says that's a great quote too. A journey from severe chronic illness to health and vitality. Man, here's a lady that was just lying in bed, couldn't even hardly move for a couple of years, and got up everything. And what a great story. We'll dig into it more and figure out how she did some of this, and how she overcame the obstacles of just leaving her body, I guess, 7 years ago. I'm just going to die now. So if you'd like to be on the show, ask a question, 888-663-6386. Email patrick@oneradionetwork.com. The book is called From Hell to Inspired, and it might be a great one for you to get for yourself or someone else who's in a situation where they just can't dig their way out. If you would like to add a nice tool to your repertoire of things, we recommend always that exercise. Well, you really can't go wrong with that, can you? And there's a lot of different ways to do it. You can go out and run and all that. Some people like to do that. They go on Stairmasters. They do the whatever. There's just so many ways to do it. And, we like the rebounders because they're fun and they're easy. And fun, I think, is probably the best word, because it's just kind of a kick just to get on there and bounce around a little bit. And it's you're getting so much juice out of the rebounder because the impact on your joints, and then the springs, and then the whole G-force thing, which is really a scientific, cool thing that they figured out with the astronauts. So say if you're 140 pounds, and then you jump up a foot, well, then the impact on the joints are like, I don't know what it's 2.5 times, something like 300 pounds. So building bone density and really building muscles without really doing a great deal of work, it's a pretty cool thing. It's using G-force, it's using G-force. So it's a clever idea, the rebounding concept. And these are really cool jumbo springs that take away a lot of the impact on the joints, and they're $339 delivered, and they're back in stock now. They're great value, and most often all around the internet they're $369, $379, something like that. Company wanted us to sell them for $369. We said, no, I don't want to do that. We're going to do $339 if that's okay. I said, well, whatever. We don't need to make that much on them, and I'd just rather see you get them into your little feet and bounce around. And it's a wonderful way out of, just to do it in your dining room, living room, wherever you put them, on your sun porch, whatever you have them. Pretty cool. Put them outside if you can cover them up. They're great. A little WD-40, a few times, 2-3 times a year on the springs, and man, they're good. And lifetime warranty. The rebounders, click and order right on the front page of Oneradionetwork.com.
When I was 15 and a half years of age, I had 2 large mercury fillings put into my teeth. I got very sick that day, and over time, the mercury exposure damaged my body. My sunny disposition turned to depression and low energy. Many years later, I understood what had happened, and in 1991, I replaced these mercury fillings with white composite. In 1997, I learned that the homeopathic mercury detox I did years earlier did not remove the mercury from my body. I began an effective means of removing mercury from my body. My digestion and elimination returned to normal, and I began to have my life back. From 1999 to 2005, I tested the level of mercury in my body, and each test showed my mercury burden was high. After 5 years on One World Way, I recently did another mercury test. The results showed my body is free of mercury and virtually all toxic metals. One World Way is very powerful for detoxification support. It has helped many, and it may help you. You can click on the One World Way banner ad and order right here at Oneradionetwork.com. That's Oneradionetwork.com.
Really, really nice product. I think you're going to like it. If you've not tried it, maybe give it a shot. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and unsweetened, unflavored whey. Stephen also has just a great plethora of really cool little things that you can use to kickstart a little thing every now and then to play around. A lot of different superfoods. He's coming out with some seed oils, which are really nice, raw, fresh, where they're making some oils out of curcumin and black sesame seeds. We're going to talk about it more next week. That'd be kind of fun thing to get a good fat in there for you. So he's got this a lot of great products on Synergistic Nutrition, which is the website for One World Way. Let's see. So I got a little weird thing going on with my equipment, as I told you about, we were trying to fix, but I think I can figure it out here as we go.
Nothing is more expensive than bad information. Know the source. Oneradionetwork.com.
Okay, 888-663-6386, June 16th, 2016. If you'd like to talk to Hilde Larsen about her experience, and she put down in a book called From Hell to Inspired. So you spent 2 years on the couch in bed.
Yes, sir.
Were you taking anything then, or just a little food? What were you doing, Hilde?
Well, I was experimenting, with everything that I read. So I started to get introduced to some juicing, and of course the parasite cleansing and some liver flushes, and transitioning away from the main typical things like dairy and meat. As I read, people had healed on different kind of protocols, but still, it was just like there was a lot of protocols out there, right?
Oh, man,
and there's a lot of kind of systems, and you're following this or you're following that, the Budwick or the whatever.
Gerson, whatever, whatever.
Yeah, the Gerson and I was following the pH Miracle for a while, and you're starting into that, and actually I did that for several years. But it was like, for me, I just knew inside that I didn't really need any of that. That, I think also that listening to Louis Hayes, was, I started with my awakening or my mental or my emotional or my spiritual journey, I think, before I even got to figure out the physical.
Yes.
It's like I was changing the way I was thinking. I knew that my mind was powerful. I knew my emotions were powerful, and that just kept me going from one of those things to another. It's like it didn't stick right because it was still a lot of things to buy, or it was
things to do, and you got to do it at this time, and all that.
Restrictions for this and that, and there was people meaning one thing, and then what should you do? Should you have salt? No salt. Should you have alkaline water? Should you have distilled? I mean, I went through all of that, and it was a good thing because I spent years in bed, and even after studying, I just studied and studied and studied. I even graduated from IIN as a certified coach while I was still, not up and running. So I think like my turning point was the day that I realized that I had to look nowhere else than to creation. That everything else I was looking around for was a good education, because now I know the different things. I've tried it. You ask me, what, have you done this? Yes. Have you tried a sapper? Yes. I own a Rife machine. Yes, I do that. I even own an oxygen tank, those portable.
Sure.
Hyperbaric. I mean, I have everything. I was like equipment freak, because I thought that something that I could take from without myself would help me or help my body heal. But simplicity, Patrick, simplicity, when I got to the point where I started to understand, well, what is the body really doing here? It's, there's a lot of blood, and then there's a lot of lymph, and all I have to do really is to get everything out that's not supposed to be there, or I have to let everything go that's not serving me.
Yeah.
That was the thought that I had, this whole time, that I was holding on to so much toxins that I needed to figure out how my body would naturally get rid of that. And by then I thought my body would just build health. So my focus was always the health. I was never going after, the sickness part or the symptom part.
Trying to
I always
fix a
thought,
certain, you weren't going
No.
after trying to fix a certain thing
Right.
with a certain nutrient. But
I know,
yeah.
because and that's the whole point. Like you said, okay, people have this ailment, they have this, they have so much going on. But really, it doesn't matter what you have going on because it's all the same thing.
It's all the same
No, it
thing.
doesn't matter. And you cannot lose weight on one thigh, or on one arm. The body is holistic. It's one system. So once the body heals, it will heal everything. It doesn't matter if it's your lungs or if it's a bad knee or if you have arthritis or diabetes. It doesn't really matter. I mean, there's there's differences in weakness in different organs and things.
Yeah.
But overall, it doesn't matter because all you need is health. Because when you have health, you cannot have any sickness, right?
Well, I really resonate to what you're saying. I think more and more, I've certainly come to that conclusion over the past 3 or 4 years, just slowly. And I think more and more people are, because the body knows what it wants to do, doesn't it?
It does. And we're
knows.
just, the more mental, I even say every thought is an obstruction.
I believe it.
Because the more you think, the more you're going to just wheel yourself into this big ball of unwheeling and entangle yourself in theories and get away from the God source or, the true connection to what we really are. So it has made me like a God woman in a whole different place, in a whole different way. I
can hear it. No, I got, boy, and God love you for going through that, because that's, to have the courage and the, the intestinal fortitude, so to speak, and the focus to let go of the without. No, I'm going to take this, I'm going to do this, and that's going to fix me, right? And really look deep in and look for who you really are as soul and God. I mean, that's where the action is, right?
It's all about taking responsibility, like 100% responsibility for yourself.
What do you mean when you say that for folks to understand that? What does that mean? How does that?
I mean that your health is your business. Your life is your business. Everything you create and see around you when you walk through your day is your business. It reflects back to you. And when I say 100% responsibility, I say you are responsible for your feelings. You're responsible for what you eat. You're responsible for how you feel. And you are a co-creator.
Yeah.
So there is no fingers to point at anyone else. There is no one to go to help fix you. You are the responsible authority in your life. And I think we are so conditioned in the society to go to other authorities, not even self-appointed, but mass-appointed, by the society itself and by the programming that we've had from living in this, at least the Western world that I know of, that we feel helpless when something happens to us. We need to go to someone, and we're looking for this, quick fix and this pill. People come to me and say, well, I've tried juicing and I did it for 10 days and I still have pain. And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Well,
Yeah, right. All right. 10 days. That's good. That's a good start.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. So, But this is the way that people are conditioned.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, this is not working for me. I mean, this is not about something working for you. This is about your body being able to heal or not, So
yeah, and in this this culture of that we're constantly trying to be programmed. Of course, we are the programmee, so it's our responsibility, right? Something's going to happen quickly, and you're going to do this, and you do this diet, and you lose all the weight you want in 30 days, and all this stuff that's out there, and
I know, and that's what we've
taken lifetimes to get to where we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how could it be that in 10 days, and it's just going to,
Well, you're not even going to scratch the surface, to be honest. I mean, if you're not 5 years old and pretty clean. But the thing is, this is about your life. This is about the lifestyle. You cannot use raw food or juicing as another pill or another Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You're still in that mindset. So I think that's why I say the first thing is taking the responsibility. Like the one you said. I mean, health is simple. Change is hard. because that's where the core is to this. This is about seeing that you are responsible and that you need to do what it takes to feel the way that you want to feel. It is a choice. Health is a choice. And that's empowerment. For some, it is not, but that's when you need to get out of that. Because I can tell people, and I remember I said something that was in the Norwegian newspapers, and they got crazy because I had said that chronic illness is an illusion. Chronic is an illusion. And I did not mean that all the people diagnosed with chronic did not have what they experienced, what they were experiencing. I was just saying that chronic, meaning you will always have it or it will be consistent, is an illusion because it does not have to be. So
what I think that you have experienced and are demonstrating and discovered is, in my opinion, which means nothing around here, is truly the only way, or the way. I don't know if it's the only way, but it's the way to heal on all levels, because you were definitely working with the spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, all at the same time during those 2 years, right? I mean, that was it was a whole package for you. I mean, I hear that in your voice and the way you're saying that. It was a whole
and you
deal.
cannot separate it.
No.
You cannot separate it. Once you start letting go of what is hurting you, you cannot separate it. I mean, you cannot clean your body and not detox emotionally at the same time.
It can't happen.
Every cell has a memory. Once you get rid of old cells or cells that are damaged or mutated, they will also have memory. You will feel it on one level or another. And that's the beauty of this. So to me, it's like it doesn't really matter what end you start. You'll have an awakening.
So do you think that the people that you talk to, the biggest challenge is most souls are just afraid to see what's really there?
Well, that is one part of it. But I think there's a big hold on people on the social conditioning when it comes to food, especially because we use it as a social thing, and it's like belonging and being in the tribe and in the group and being different or taking that responsibility just for yourself and standing kind of outside the crowd is very tough. We're not used to doing that. We're used to being told, like, get back in line, And
you got to eat this or you got to eat that. You got to eat that. No, you got to eat that.
Right. You're going to a family gathering or you're sitting down at Christmas and you have a smoothie at the end of the table when you've eaten your typical thing for the last 40 years. It's hard. Change is hard. It's very hard. And that's where it comes to play if you're taking responsibility for yourself, because all of that has to do with everyone else. What they think, what they do, how you think they're going to think about you. This whole, and I experienced that for several years. I mean, I was always the one sitting at the end of the table with my green smoothie. And I mean, people looked at me like I was a freak.
Hilde,
but
and it goes on now with the very well-meaning people, and we hear it. I hear it all the time that, we'll get folks on the show that say, on both sides, that you've absolutely got to do absolutely raw vegan, or it's not going to work for you. You got to do that, or you got to have animal foods because vegetarians will get sick and blah blah blah. And I don't think it's one or the other. I think that each soul is going to have to figure out what is going to get them to where they want to be, and it could be different. It could be a mix. It could be different.
Whatever you feel that you need to do, God bless your soul. It's like you said, but everything is cause and effect. Everything is cause and effect, and everything you do. And once you understand that and can really feel into that, then you will know.
Yeah, and you'll feel
I know
it.
people that,
If you eat something, whether or not it's working.
I can remember I was smoking like a chimney.
Wait.
Yeah, I was. And I remember we had those commercials on TV, which were showing sick people and lungs that were, cancers or whatever. And I just didn't want to see it. And we didn't want to see it. And it's not that we didn't know that it was hurting us. It was just that we were playing on our ignorance and, just suppressing the awareness of that. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They know very well every time they put something in their mouth, because they feel it. You look at people, excuse me, but there's a lot of overweight people out there, and there's a lot of people that have what they even know is a lifestyle condition or a lifestyle illness, and still it is so hard. We're so full of parasites and fungus that's literally what we're feeding. We're not clean. So to get connected with yourself and your intuition is almost impossible. That's the sad part, because you can feel that it's not good for you, but you are overridden with the signals from something else, something other than you, that's going to keep you into this craving. It's like, well, I can't do this because I'm craving this and I'm craving that. This is not so easy for me. And I'm like, well, I don't know, but it was never about easy,
Yeah, it was never about easy. Okay, Let's take this call. Good morning. What's your first name on the telephone? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Patrick. This is Dee in California.
Hi, Dee. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Hilda.
Hi, Dee.
I've gone through a lot of what you've gone through, and a lot of parasites and fungus and mold issues and lots of stuff, but I'm really interested in what you did to detox the liver, exactly what your steps you went through, how you did your detox.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it now, what I started doing was a lot of liver flushes, and I don't know if you've read about that or if you know anything about that.
There's lots of different kinds. What kind did you do?
I did the regular Halder Clark, or Mr. Moritz, the regular olive oil grape.
Andreas Moritz. Well, it's pretty hard to go into the whole thing. It's a process.
Yeah.
But you can look at Andreas Moritz's work. The great liver gallbladder flush. But to explain it right here on the phone would be, I think.
Yeah, but get past that. I just want to get past that, because what I would say now is that what I have learned is that if you just detox your whole body, your liver will clean itself. It is a downline from the kidneys, so to say. So if you open those kidneys and open that lymphatic system, because everything we're feeling is acids, and they're stuck everywhere in the tissue and everywhere.
Sorry about that, Hilde. I think we had a internet cattywampus disconnection thing here.
Yep.
Yeah.
All good.
That's what happened. Okay. So we're on the phone with Dee. She's in California. So you were talking to Dee about when we were so rudely interrupted, is not necessarily go for one organ or another, but you were suggesting perhaps, can you give her some ideas on how to do like a whole body detox? How she could start. I know it'd be complicated to do it all here in a few minutes, but how she could start.
Well, I would say a whole body detox would always start with a parasite cleanse, then a liver flush, and then just getting out of the way, because the body is the only one that can detox. You cannot drink or do anything really to detox. What you do is you spasm, the gallbladder, so that the liver is pushing out what's in there, but you're not detoxing. The body is not detoxing anything. You're kind of manipulating it. But it could be a great help, if you're really stuck and you have a lot of parasites, and especially if you have an inflamed or you're hurting in your liver area, I would absolutely do that. But the cleaner you can eat and the more fruit, the less fat, just go more to a raw or juicing, a little bit of fasting, your body will absolutely detoxify itself.
Okay, and so are you talking about Epsom salts and grapefruit, or a different one?
I'm talking about exactly what you're saying right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's hard to understand, that one. I never really got
that's,
it.
have you seen that book, Dee, the great...
the amazing
liver gallbladder flush. Really, I would pick that up.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's very clear on how to do it.
Because it's not really that, it's not really complicated. It's the malic acid in the apples that soften the stones, and then the Epsom salt will relax the bile ducts so that the stones come out more easily. And then the oil and the grapefruit juice is just to make the gallbladder go into like a spasm of bile, to kind of push out that oil with that. So it's not really, it's an easy thing. And people do it different ways, but that's like the standard.
Doc Sutter did it with Coca-Cola.
He did. I wouldn't recommend that now. So if you're listening, Doc, sorry, no Coke.
You did it with Coca-Cola. Man,
I know he did. Yeah.
that's crazy.
Can you use oranges instead of grapefruit?
No. See, grapes are the bitters, so you need the grapes. You need the grapefruits. Grapefruit juice.
Okay, thank you
thanks.
so much.
Yeah, I would
Thank
get
you.
that book, and also to Dee and to others. We've had several shows with Andreas Moritz, and you can just put his name into our search engine on One Radio Network, and you listen to those shows. We got into great detail, so the information is right there for you. Also, you can Google, not Google, but in our search engine, put Annie Jubb. I don't know if you remember her, Hilda, but yeah, she's done. Wow, she probably holds the world's records for liver flushes, and we have a lot of shows with Annie Jubb on our network. So that's just. I know it's hard to be real general with people listening all over the world and different things, but looking back, you would think that's one of the real places to start is the liver gallbladder thing and the parasites.
Well, of course, all depending on where you are. See, that's why,
Sure.
of course, like you
It's
say,
hard
it's
to
hard
say.
to be general, depending, on so many things. And it's hard to kind of tell people that because they might have something going on that they really shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But those are ones of the things that will most often be included in a full body detox because the liver is holding usually onto a lot of parasites and the body's trying to, again, the body's just doing its job, is trying to protect us from all of this. So they're making these little stones and encoding everything to protect us, protect, and help us. And the same thing, we don't think about it that way, but inflammation is just protection.
Protection, right? The body,
Edema is just protection. It's the body just protecting us from acids. It's trying to water out, so when you look at that, the symptoms are not what you're going after. It's not like, oh, I have edema here, or I have an inflamed, elbow. What should I do with that? Well, you should just take away the acids in the whole body so that the body doesn't have to protect you from it anymore.
And the acids you're saying are more of the meat, acid-forming foods, more meat, that kind of thing.
Well, yes, because what I'm talking about is food. See, food is one thing. You can burn it down. You have the ash, and then you have the pH of the food, and it gets very kind of generalized into systems, and you have charts and everything like that. But what we're talking about generally is acids in form of metabolic waste in the body, metabolic and self, and waste from pathogens and everything like that. We call that acids. So
I see. Okay, not necessarily.
So
acid
everything.
alkaline,
Everything that's waste in the body is acidic. The waste is acidic.
Right.
So the blood has to stay at its perfect pH. So once the blood, once you eat, or even if you think a thought, Patrick, if you think negative thoughts all the time, it's going to be very acidic to the body. The body's create more acids. So I would say you could be really negative and eat a little meat here and there and be much more alkaline than a person eating just fruit if he's just kind of,
Gotcha.
really in a low place. But in general, all the living fruits and berries and melons and greens are more alkalizing to the body than meat because, it moves through. That's the thing. We have to absorb, and we have to utilize, and we have to eliminate. So that's one of the biggest reasons why it's acidic to us. It's not, just looking at the meat itself. It's just that once you take it in, you have to do all that with it. And first of all, you have to break it all down. There's nobody that can use protein. You don't use protein. You use amino acids, and the body builds its own protein. So every time you take in a whole protein, the body just has to break it down, and all of that residue that is kind of left over from doing that job is impairing the kidneys. That's what we see. Yeah.
Here's an email for you. Again, sorry to kind of rush you forward, but I like to get to these emails. Sorry to interrupt. Hilde, can you give examples what your meals were and how much in the sitting you were having when you were really sick, recovering, and what they are now? Is she still on mostly fruit? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I could just do really quick for the whole thing. I used to live on cheese doodles and Diet Coke, cigarettes, milk, cheese, and pizza. The regular, that was kind of putting it, but you know what I mean. I mean, I was really on a regular sad diet plus. I was a little better than a lot of my friends, but still. Then when I was healing, I was going more and more towards the plant kingdom. I left everything from the animal kingdom, but for many years, I was still cooking my food. I had a lot of soups when I was sick, and I did some juicing with that. And then I went to all the greens because I was conditioned to believe that fruits are bad for you and all sugars are bad and, all that. So on many, like I think 3.5 years, I was on only greens with a lot of fat, oils and nuts and seeds and the typical type of raw cracker, avocado, green diet. And then I was led to lighten up, and that was hard to go to the fruit. It was hard because I was so convinced it was going to hurt me. But still, something told me, it's natural. I mean, there is not going to be a forest full of wild berries and strawberries, and you have these oranges, and they're luscious, and God created this, and it's bad for me. It's just like, it didn't make sense. It just did not make sense. So that's where the real change happened for me. I mean, and what I see is when I kind of went to the lightest, most healing food. And what I found is, it's not that the food itself is so healing, it's that it's so light on the body that the body will have more energy and not be disturbed by what's taking energy to actually heal. It's like it's complex, this is a whole different show. So that's that. And then, yes, I am now mostly fruits on last 4 years, I think. And if I'll do that the rest of my life, I have no idea.
Who knows? It could change, right? You could wake up one day.
It could change. It's working right now, and I love it. And, I wouldn't do anything else right now, but I would never put myself into any category or anything. I don't call myself anything. I just say, this is what I've found, and I see it working for, people that I help. So
yeah, Jaliana, she's in Western Australia. Jaliana, I'm reading your book right now, and I'm very inspired by your story. I would love to hear your take on the fruit fear that is being pushed by the health industry, particularly around cancer, and the fact that even fruit sugars feed cancer. Also, a diet high in saturated fat is now being promoted as a healthy diet. Would love to share your thoughts. So I think you've kind of gone over that. But if you have more there, but it doesn't feel like there's black and white in anywhere we go, right?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment on the what we see in the cancer movement. I mean, the oldest cancer cure, or one of the oldest that we've found, is the grape cure. Dark grapes used, before long, they used to use that as a cancer cure. Grapes are amazing. So yes, fruit sugar fuels every cell in the body, cancerous or not. So it will, fuel all of them. But you need that fuel for the healthy ones to grow even stronger, and for the body to be able to eliminate those that are not, healthy. So that is kind of a theory that is also mental. I don't say that in a, kind of a...
I understand. No, you get in that mental world, and boy...
Yeah,
it's just
you start analyzing things when you should just kind of stop and listen and think. Or not think. Just, listen.
One of my teachers said, we all sit around and ask God for this and that, and we show me this, show me this, right? And then we before you know it, we're just run out of the house, man. We're not even home. He says, you just run out of the house and nobody listens, We've asked, well, you got to chill out for a minute. That's so hilarious.
And that's a big one, right?
Right.
Stillness.
Yep. Yeah. Paul in the UK writes, what does Hilde think then was the actual cause of her rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis?
Okay, so most definitely the cause was kidneys that was not eliminating any acids, not filtering like a lot of people today, together with everything that I was putting on top of that, stress, food, a mindset of a very determined woman. And I think that the symptoms that we get from doing that abuse to the body, I was abusing my body. Why did I get rheumatoid arthritis, and why didn't I get cancer? I think that's really connected with your weaknesses, because we also had genes that we come into this world with from our parents. And the great thing is, yes, we inherit not our genes, but we inherit the weaknesses. So it seems that we've here inherit a sickness, which we've actually just inherit the weakness that will, make the body show those symptoms. But as long as we can regenerate any weakness, then there you go. You can't even, use that anymore. You can't say that, I inherited this or my whole family has this. Yes, they do, but you don't have to.
When you originally, I'll just go back to we have to go because it's time, but it was really fun talking to you. But when you go back to the time when how many meds were you on when you just quit everything?
At that time, I was on a lot of painkillers, obviously, and Somadril, we call it. It's like a relaxant type of drug. I was on Enbrel. I was on methotrexate, and I was on something called Furex that was for edema, a diuretic, and I was on prednisone.
Wow.
They even gave me prednisone or cortisol intravenously, IV. Wow. It was crazy. Yeah.
Boy, getting off all that must have been a real hell. And that's the name of your book. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was really, that's why I say from hell to inspired, because the book, it's a lot of things. I went through the dark night of the soul.
Sure.
There is a lot of things, and I've been doing ayahuasca, and, this is a complex thing. living with nature and taking that responsibility will just blow you right open. But on the other side, inspired, it's beyond this world. You never tire. It's like I'm so inspired now from everything that I've learned and everything that I see that I can't even, can't even begin to explain.
That's great. Well, good for you. We're really proud of the work that you have done, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot of folks to read your book, From Hell to Inspired, and it's really quite an amazing story. All right, my dear Hilde, thanks for being on the show. We enjoyed it.
Thank you. And can I just say at the end that there's another book coming out in 2 weeks? So that's really exciting too.
Oh, you got a new book too? Yeah.
Yeah. It's called Know the Truth and Get Healthy. And it's more like a step-by-step book, because people were asking for that. When they read my stories, it's like, well, how do I exactly do everything?
Sure.
So the second one has all the recipes and, all the nitty-gritty, everything. Like everything people ask me, I just put everything down into one book.
Good job.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye.
Patrick.
Bye-bye. Hilde Larsen. Her website is inspiredbyhilde.com. Man, what a story, huh?